Welcome back. You're watching live from Paris on France 24. It's time now to find out what French journalists are twittering and writing about. James Creedon is here for Media Watch. Good evening to you, James. Now,
good evening, Laura.
Nicolas Sarkozy has got himself a job. This is the former French president, of course. He's been having a very nice, long, extended holiday all around the Maghreb and elsewhere. Yep. Now, though, back to business. Tell us what he's been up to.
He's been sitting on the French Constitutional Council. Now, this is one of these big, lofty bodies. You get paid 11,000 euros a month for it, actually, and you usually only have to sit once or twice. So it's seen as a pretty sweet gig. But in any case, people thought it was somewhat amusing to see the omnipotent Nicolas Sarkozy, strutting around the world stage for a number of years. And here he is. This is what they're calling the picture of the day. Sarkozy, good. You have to zoom right in on it because this is one of these CCTV footage things.
He's not tweeting, is he?
He hasn't tweeted, but there he is. Look at him sitting just one. He's almost a part of the backdrop, really. One of many. You had Jacques Chirac, you had Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, all the
has-beens. Has to be said, doesn't it?
I don't think he'd like to see it that way.
Must be pretty depressing.
Now, the thing is, what got a lot of tongues wagging, right? The video has been taken offline, but at the very end of the 40-minute meeting, he was spotted. This isn't the video the very controversial video, which has now disappeared. He was spotting over about 30 seconds, ripping up the notes he had taken during the course of the 40-minute meeting, right? So it's a meeting to examine constitutional questions, and he clearly wasn't very happy to be seated next to Jean-Claude. I think it's Jean-Michel Debré, the head of the Constitutional Council, who he famously doesn't like.
He's trying to start a conversation.
Right, and they hate each other. It's publicly known, right? So in any case,
mischief makers put them next to each other.
But that's right, that video was taken down.
Jean-Louis Debré.
Now, some people are saying, this is what the new life of Sarkozy is. Being bored on the Constitutional Council and ripping up his notes. And another person saying, it's worse than dinner with your mother-in-law, Nicolas Sarkozy and Jean-Louis Debré at the Constitutional Council. #ambience.
Oh dear.
Not very good.
So he's not enjoying his new life. It might get better.
Well, 11,000 euros just to sit for 40 minutes listening to some...
I'd sit anywhere for that amount of money.
Seriously. It's not a bad deal.
Now, what about this cross-channel spat? Now, temp is offering at the G20 summit in Mexico.
We love it.
And the British didn't make anything better. David Cameron, the Prime Minister, decided to welcome tax exiles to Britain. If they're going to have to leave France, he said they might as well come to us.
This is it. Anything for a bit of money, a bit of business, a bit of wealth. Now, in fact, what they're saying, I was looking at some analysis on one of the French rolling news channels earlier, and they were saying really tax is now a weapon in this war between states to attract business and to attract industry.
François Hollande says he's going to levy a 75% tax, but only on people earning over €1 million.
That's right. So it's certainly something that France is very wealthy.
It's a pretty hefty whack. You've got to hand over 3/4 of your earnings to the government just like that.
That's right. And Cameron recently reduced the top tax band. So I think there's a slightly different policy across the channel. I
think there'll be some Frenchies crossing the channel.
So let's take a look at some of the headlines. In wooing French tax exiles, Cameron makes a mockery of democracy. So The Guardian left-leaning against it. Daily Mail and other papers saying, look, Hollande, he's taxing and spending, so Cameron is inviting the wealthy French to settle in London. Normal. And then you've got this left-wing blog, which is showing left foot forward. And it's showing Simpsonized French fat cats getting ready to come over to England. You've got people tweeting about it. Cameron recognises the needs of French tax exiles to have calamitous transport and to shore up the French, or to shore up their terrible health system. So you've got Frenchies pointing the finger across the channel saying, hey, you've got a crap health system. I can't really say that, can I?
And all of this, yeah, you can. And all of this going on, of course, when you've got France and England both playing football tonight, both fighting for a spot in the quarterfinals.
It's anything.
It's like the good old days, isn't it, James?
This is it. And we've got another tweet here, look, saying, we launched an appeal for British people who can't deal with the NHS anymore or 5-minute consultations. Come to France. So could we see this kind of crisscrossing?
British pensioners go to France and rich French people come to Britain.
I think maybe the Treasury in Britain would be happier with that situation.
This is what the European Union is for, is it not?
The disagreement. Do you know what? I have a photo to show you.
Please.
Not really relevant, but I think we can find the relevance. This isn't new, the whole Franco-British kind of spat back and forth, is it? Right? It's kind of something...
Oh, no, it's been going on hundreds of years, I think.
Look at this. James. This is the photo I found. That is an 1805 chamber pot. From 1805.
And who's in it? Who's the lucky...
That's Napoleon. It's a British chamber pot with Napoleon stuck inside in it. from 1805. So a way of saying that this latest Cameron spat it's not really new, is it?
No, we've seen it all before.
Finding things to disagree about.
And the Irish find it particularly funny, of course.
We're sitting on the fence, enjoying it all.
All right, James Creedon, many thanks indeed.
Laura.
That's it from Media Watch now. Google has an ambitious project to map the world, and its latest expedition has taken it to the deepest jungles of the Amazonian rainforest. Take a look, we've got that and more in tonight's Web News.